Some might agree, and I'm guessing that most will disagree. But the Lexus RX is right up there alongside the most iconic, prestigious, and desirable mid-size luxury premium SUVs with the BMW X5 and the Mercedes-Benz GLE, aka ML. I say that because the RX has been one of the most successful of its kind in the segment and has been around, well, now in its 5th generation. I mean, it launched in 1998, right around the time that automakers were beginning to figure out that if they increase the ride height and increase the seating position and add $20,000 to a price tag, people are going to buy more of their vehicles. And it has worked wonderfully. The RX itself has evolved monstrously over the last 25 years, actually. I guess maybe 26 at this point, and quite honestly, I mean, I've liked, in fact, loved every generation. And the thing with the RX is that it has this impact on me every time I drive it. And that is, and I say this with the utmost respect to Lexus and the RX, but it really mellows me out, makes me feel like I should be retired and just enjoy life. Because if you ask me, the way Lexus approaches luxury has less to do with performance, despite now, like some 500h plus, plug-in hybrids with massive power and all that. So it's less about luxury, say like the AMGs and the M's over at BMW and Mercedes-Benz. And for, how can I put this? It works so much better in my opinion. What Lexus has done is made an SUV, created an SUV over 25, 26 years now, and 5 generations, that simply caresses the soul, the mind, the body, and pleases all the senses, all of them, be it styling. Well, it smells pretty good in there too, and like I said, it looks good. I don't know about the taste. Okay, so maybe not all the senses, but the point is, what I'm trying to say is that I feel so at ease, so zen when I'm driving the RX that I think, I mean, as much as I love the GLE and really, really do appreciate the X5, when and if I should ever buy an SUV, another SUV, okay, I've owned one in my life because whatever. This would probably be it in my late 60s, early 70s perhaps, because of its transcendent, is that even a word, luxury and premiumness. Look, you know how these videos go. Sometimes I just say all kinds of stupidity and stupidities, many more than one. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And right now what I'm trying to tell you is that the RX is the finest, like a fine wine, like a fine cheese of its kind. And the version that I'm driving this week is pretty much the mellowest and the most reasonable of them all. So in the following video, we'll do a walk around and point out a few things. I mean, this is the all-new 5th generation 2023 Lexus RX, so we'll talk about things, both outside and in. And then we'll go for a very soothing, relaxing, not quite spirited, but just enough drive that will be ultra efficient. I just realized how kind of horrific the background is here. But it doesn't matter because I'm left alone. Okay, yes, my video spot. Okay, so the Lexus RX, well, let's just say Lexus over the last 15, 16 years has had, well, no, okay, let's just, as a whole, Lexus has had boring-ish, personality devoid, or devoid of personality designs for a long time. I mean, at first, because it was new, novel, the LS, the IS, the first generations and all that, they were cool. But then they quickly, by the mid-2000s, went, grandpa styling, and but that's all behind us now. So what I'm trying to say is that the current generations of Lexus, in fact, now as I'm saying, I'm realizing every new Lexus, I mean, including the very handsome TX that I have a walk around video on Motor Illustrated right now too, if you want to check it out. The GX, the RX, the NX, which kind of essentially launched this new generation of design for Lexus. I mean, they're all good looking. The updated IS is really, really handsome. What was an eyesore for all the more recent Lexus vehicles was the spindle grille, which was just abhorrent. I've said it in previous videos. It has grown on me, but now, especially on the TX, but now even now the RX, it kind of fits better in its surroundings. This one on this RX compared to the TX, there's still a noticeable delineation between where it starts and where it ends, but it's still a really attractive SUV. I have to admit, it's good looking. Speaking of good looking, well, there are visual differences, though they might not be as obvious because the RX is built on the Toyota Lexus GAK platform, like the TX and a number of other Lexus and Toyota vehicles. So what has happened is that the overall length of the new RX is about identical to that of the previous one, but the wheelbase is 60 millimeters longer, but the rear overhang is 60 millimeters shorter. I would have recommended Lexus designers maybe take about 30 millimeters out of the snoot in front. It's a little, I don't want to say comical, it's a little overdone, it's a little trying, a little too hard, especially when in this case it's a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid engine. But what do I know about styling? I know nothing. But this RX 350h, yes, the naturally aspirated hybrid version, looks pretty damn good thanks to these 21-inch wheels and the color. So there's you go. There's your trim for my week's tester. Excuse me. Pricing in the US starts at $48,950 for an RX350 front-wheel drive. Yeah, no such thing in Canada. They're all-wheel drive as standard. The top trim, the 500h, is just shy of $58,000. That's US. In Canada, very, very different pricing structure, as always. $58,650 for the RX350 all-wheel drive. I mean, the level of equipment is appreciable, and for that kind of money, 19-inch wheels, 9-point-inch touchscreen display, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a bunch more features. The top trim, the RX 500h, starts at $79,800. And with a few options, you're closing in on 90 grand for an RX, which is insane. And then there's this one, a 350h, which starts at $60,150. The thing with Lexus vehicles is that they have like 5 trims for all of these versions. It's an insane amount of ways to personalize your RX. In fact, most Lexus vehicles. So let's just start. What am I trying to say? Yeah, okay, so the trims are premium, luxury, ultra luxury, and then executive, F Sport Plus, and not every version gets one of those trims, but close to. My tester, is the ultra luxury, which adds heads-up display, a 14-inch touchscreen, 21-inch wheels, digital key, some real leather, heated, cooled seats all over the place, and a bunch of other features for a grand total of $71,150. Is there any point of going another lap? I guess not. I mean, I really like the new way they're writing out Lexus. I think it started with the RX. I might be wrong, but I think it may have, if not the NX. Good angle. There isn't a bad angle. I love this floating roof type of thing, which started on the Murano 2 generations ago, if I'm not mistaken, but all automakers are kind of copying that now. But it looks good, makes sense. And yeah, I know the RX is really dirty. It's been raining all week, so this is why I'm shooting my video now. 838 liters of trunk space. I mean, it's wide. I mean, this is golf bag happy. You can easily fit, I think, 3.5 bags. And if you put one of the 60/40 seat positions down, is it? No, it's, yeah, I think it's 60/40. You can fit 4, but then you'll be -1 player. Point is, big trunk, works wonderfully well. Obviously, midsize 2-row SUV is, oh yeah, these are the door handles, which are like a switch now, which is kind of cool. And the TX, I thought you had to pull, but the pull is the actual latch. So to get out, you just have to push, right? That's how it works. Yeah, so it's really, really nice in here. Plenty of room. The real leather is just absolutely gorgeous. Here are your heated and cooled buttons for the seats. Fit, finish. It's glorious. It's Lexus. I mean, Lexus could give lessons to Benz, to Cadillac, to all the automakers on how to make something simple be so elegant and touch-worthy. I mean, look at this. I'm pinching leather on the armrest. It's gorgeous. Yeah, so you can't fit another human between the two seats, but this is a very comfortable place. Reclining seat back, always a nice touch. Now climbing aboard up front, well, just before. I mean, there's the executive version before, after this has an audio system with 21 speakers, and it's another, I don't know, $3,000. It's not worth it. This is kind of like a happy middle spot if you want a lot of features without adding, 300 pounds worth of options, such as 21 speakers, I think. But again, it's simple, it's gorgeous, and it's well put together. I mean, just by looking at it and touching it. Anyhow, ultra comfortable seats. They're just fantastic. The bolsters are fat. And we drop aboard. Start it up. So immediately, so there's your digital display, which is kind of nice. I mean, it has a number of different ways to, shut. Okay. There you go. So you can change the layout here, and you have different controls. Oh, actually, they show up here. So you have this, that, and there's the other side. Oops. Lovely music for a Lexus RX. There's your 14-inch touchscreen, which is really, really nice. The knobs, as I've said this in a few other models, I love how they now integrate them into their background. It's so clean, so luxurious. While I'm here, so you have your various settings, your fuel consumption and all of that, the phone, audio. What I want to show you is this. So if you want to access the climate, because the climate controls are just laid out here at the bottom. If you want to have more, you select climate, and then you can start, messing around with a few different things. But that's not what I really want to show you. It's this button right there. Now this is how you access to the frequently used modes. So you have a couple of drive modes that show up here, heads-up display. I think all of this is configurable, but if you want access to all the drive modes, they're here. It's kind of, there are a few too many steps, but RX350h, there's your driving assist business. It's actually kind of nice. Once you know that this is how it works, it's really, really intuitive because it's like a super shortcut, pow. Everything shows up, it's right there. What else can I say? Storage is actually really, really nice. You got a bin down here. You got this deep bin with your wireless charger, and this is even deeper there. Cup holders. This bin is enormous. The door bins are actually very decent. Look at the fit and finish. It's so clean, so beautiful and well set up. And visibility is excellent. I mean, look at that. You cannot ask for better than that. Steering wheel has a nice grip. Not the spoke, but the rim is actually fairly thin, so it's got an easy grip to it. And you got paddle shifters in here too, for some reason. What else do you need to know? The EV mode, because hybrid. I think this is like an off-road mode, but I won't be taking this off-road. Maybe it's hill descent. I think that's maybe what it is. And that's pretty much it. So now let's go explore the hybrid powertrain. I guess we can just jump right into powertrain availability. The RX350 is now Toyota's quickly, expanding in application turbocharged 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine. And I've experienced it now in the Highlander, and I've said this also, I think, when I did my TX videos. I mean, it transforms the vehicle into something far more, in the best way possible, explosive than you expect a Lexus or an SUV vehicle to be and behave. At the other end, the RX500, that's a 2.4 turbo also, but this time with hybrid assistance. So for the moment, smack between the two versions is the RX350h, which uses Toyota's well-honed, I suppose is the best way to put it, naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine. I've said all that, along with the Lexus hybrid synergy drive. So it's a CVT, it's an electric motor, and it's an extra electric motor on the rear axle that is disconnected completely from what's going on up front. Total system output is a very familiar 246 horsepower, so all of them are give or take in that vicinity, both Toyota, with Toyota vehicles also. And in this case, I have torque numbers. I mean, it's 233 pound-feet of torque. I've never heard or read that before, which is kind of neat, I have to admit. Now, the reason why, there are many reasons why you go for the RX350h, and the first will be for simplicity of operation. I mean, you put it in drive, like I said, paddle shifters, I don't know what those are for, but I mean, I've been in eco mode most of the time, and I just drive it. It's so quiet, smooth, and the hybrid system, I mean, is seamless or nearly, unless you're really hammering it. I was saying zen, the powertrain, the way everything operates, it's just so smooth, so zen. And even if you're not that careful with the throttle, you will average about 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers. I dare you to beat that in the real world with any plug-in hybrid vehicle. Not in an SUV like this well equipped and this sized. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Hey, you know, PHEVs are all kinds of problems. Yes, Toyota has and Lexus have, but nothing beats their hybrids, in my opinion. The ride quality is fantastic, even with the 21-inch wheels. I got a fully independent suspension, obviously, all over the place, and the new platform just adds that extra dose of rigidity, which translates into extra comfort because there are no noises. There's no shaking, there's no rattling. The dampers do exactly what they have to do, again, despite the 21-inch wheels. Levels of comfort are huge. Everything is so quiet. I mean, when the wipers operate, I think I mentioned, it's been raining for like the last 4 days, almost nonstop. You can't hear them. The window motors they're absolutely silent. This is what I mean by absolute, pure, and true luxury. Luxury is serenity. Serenity is Lexus RX 350h. I mean, if you want to put the hammer down, yeah, and it's kind of a VTEC effect somewhere around the middle of the power ring, I don't know, on the digital display, which is kind of amusing, I suppose. It is at first. After that, you know, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But look, you can merge on, you know, into traffic. Not if you're towing 3,500 pounds, which I believe is the absolute limit, and if you've got a bunch of people on board. But I bet you'll still average, despite being loaded and everything, maybe not towing, but under 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Steering is nice. Brake pedals feels really, really good. Travel is reasonable. It's just a wonderful, wonderful SUV. So I'm gonna put the hammer down again. In sport, it just gets excited or excitable a little bit sooner. If you want something faster, I mean, just get the 350 non-H. If you want even faster, you get a 500. And if you want ridiculous power, just get an X5M or an AMG 63, whatever, from Benz. This, in my mind, again, the only mean thing I can say about this SUV is that this is what I'm looking forward to buying in 25 years from now, 28 years from now, when I'm old and, you know, slightly more curved and just looking for quiet comfort, for serenity. Serenity. That's the word. That's the operative word. And I love this SUV for that.